His hands trembled slightly as they moved over my skin, unsure yet eager, like someone touching fire for the first time. Nathan was young, too young to understand the weight of what he was doing, but there was something in his eyes that drew me in. His lips brushed against mine, hesitant at first, but as I pulled him closer, the hesitation melted away. My fingers threaded through his hair as he pressed me against the wall of my dimly lit apartment. The room silent except for the ragged sound of our breathing. He was gentle, almost reverent, as though afraid I might break. But I didn't need gentleness. I needed the intensity, the fire, the momentary escape from the shadows that loomed over me. I pulled him closer, guiding him, feeling his body respond to mine. For a few fleeting moments, the danger outside the walls of my apartment faded into nothing, replaced by the heat of his touch and the way he whispered my name like a prayer. Nathan's hands moved with increasing certainty, sliding down my back and pulling me closer until there was no space left between us. His breath was hot against my neck as his lips found the delicate curve of my shoulder, lingering there, tasting the salt of my skin. I arced into him, letting the sensation wash over me, the weight of his body grinding me as the world outside dissolved into nothing. My fingers traced the line of his jaw, his chest, memorizing the softness of his skin and the strength beneath it. He lifted me effortlessly, carrying me to the couch where the dim light of the room painted us in shadows. His eyes searched mine, as though asking permission to go further, to delve into places no one else had dared to touch. I answered with a kiss, deep and urgent, my hands weaving into his hair as his body pressed into mine. The rhythm of our movements was unspoken, a natural harmony that built steadily. Every touch, every sigh adding to the crescendo that seemed to fill the room. As we reached the peak of our passion, time seemed to stand still, the tension between us giving way to a release that was both physical and emotional. When it was over, we lay tangled in the sheets on the floor, the cool air brushing against our sweat-dampened skin. Nathan's head rested on my shoulder, his fingers tracing idle patterns on my arm. I stared at the ceiling, my thoughts already creeping back to the reality I couldn't escape. He didn't know the full story, what I was running from, who controlled me. I couldn't tell him, not yet. It all started with a song. My name is Delilah Martel, and I sing at the Velvet Room, a small nightclub in a quiet, seemingly idyllic town. On stage, I'm glamorous, sultry, a vision of confidence and allure. Off stage, I'm trapped, a prisoner to a man who holds every piece of my life in his fists. His name is Victor, and he's everything you'd expect from a monster hiding in plain sight. Charming to strangers, cruel to me. Nathan stumbled into my word by accident. He found something he shouldn't have, a clue to the chaos beneath the town's perfect facade. When he came to the Velvet Room, his innocent curiosity was written all over his face. At first, I thought he was just another spectator, entranced by the mystery of the woman on stage. But then he stayed, and I realized he wasn't just watching the show, he was watching me. I tried to push him away, to warn him that the closer he got, the more danger he would invite into his life. But Nathan was relentless, asking questions no one else dared to ask, looking at me with a tenderness I hadn't felt in years. And when I finally let him in, I knew there was no turning back. The second time we made love, it was desperate, almost frantic, as though we were trying to outrun the inevitable. The small motel room we had rented for the night felt like a sanctuary, a place where Victor's reach couldn't find us, though I knew it was only an illusion. Nathan's hands gripped my waist as he pulled me against him, his lips claiming mine with a hunger that mirrored my own. This wasn't just passion, it was a rebellion, a statement that for once we could choose each other over the forces trying to tear us apart. His body moved against mine with a rhythm that felt both chaotic and perfect, our breaths mingling in the heated air. I clung to him, my nails digging into his back as though holding on tighter could make the moment last forever. Nathan's hands framed my face as his lips found mine again, softer this time, as though savoring every second we had together. The room, dimly lit by a single flickering lamp, felt like it existed outside of time, a bubble where nothing else mattered but the heat between us. I traced the line of his jaw with my fingers, marveling at the way he looked at me, as though I was something precious, something worth fighting for. He leaned in, his breath warm against my ear, whispering my name like a vow. As he eased me back onto the bed, his hands exploring my body with a tenderness that made my heart ache. Each touch felt like a promise, a reassurance that despite the storm brewing outside, we could find peace in each other. Our movements were slow, deliberate, as though we were composing a melody that only we could hear. His lips trailed down my neck, his fingers lacing with mine as he held me close, his body a shield against the darkness that threatened to consume us. We moved together as if we were trying to merge, to erase the space between us. The tension in the room built until it felt like we might burst. And when the crescendo came, it was like the world stopped. For a few perfect moments, there was nothing but the sound of our breathing and the steady rhythm of his heartbeat beneath my hand. When it was over, I curled into him, my head resting on his chest as his arms enveloped me. For the first time in years, I felt safe, truly safe. But the safety was fragile, like glass teetering on the edge of a table. "We can leave," Nathan whispered, his voice full of hope. I didn't have the heart to tell him that leaving wasn't an option. Not for me. Not while Victor was still out there. Victor found out of hers. Men like him always do. The threats came first. Hushed warnings spoken with a smile in public, followed by the bruises hidden beneath my makeup. Nathan wanted to fight him, but he didn't understand the danger. Victor wasn't just cruel, he was powerful, connected, untouchable in ways that made resistance seem futile. But Nathan's stubbornness gave me something I hadn't felt in years. Courage. Together, we began to unravel Victor's hold on the town, piece by piece, secret by secret. It was dangerous, reckless, and it made our love all the more intense. Each touch, Each kiss became a declaration of defiance, a refusal to let victory dictate our lives. In the end, I knew we couldn't win, not completely. But as I stood on the Velvet Room stage one last time, singing a song of heartbreak and hope, I saw Nathan in the crowd, his eyes filled with unwavering determination. And for the first time, I believed that maybe, just maybe, we could write our own ending. One where love wasn't a weakness, but the strength that finally set us free.